right, everybody. Welcome back to the Mindfly podcast. I am your host this week, Alyssa. We've got Doug.
Hello.
JP.
Hello.
Cayse.
JP, I hate you so goddamn much.
Shelby.
Hello.
And as usual, our wonderful sound guy, Zach.
Yes, move closer to your mic. We can't hear you.
He's not that
He
wonderful.
is a wonderful sound guy.
I readjusted it for you to be close. So.
Anyway, so I don't know if you guys have noticed anything different this week, but we have another...
We're moving.
We're moving now. Hi.
You can actually see our faces, and guys, we're actually wearing clothes this
Motion
week.
video.
Aww.
We wore clothes.
Yeah,
We had to.
I was vehemently against it, but they were like, "No, we got to wear clothes for this." Oh,
I mean,
God.
it's publicly decent.
Cayse, put your nipples away.
Them nips.
Not now.
No, it's what the audience wants, right?
That's what the audience wants.
Yeah,
They want
give them
this.
Give them what they want.
Give them what they want. All right, let's go.
So we got off to a little bit of a late start this time due to some technical issues, but we're really
JP.
excited to be bringing in the video aspect of things. And speaking of switching it up,
Ooh, ooh.
You're a great
Oh,
host.
no.
You're an excellent host.
transition.
You're killing it so far.
Segment
You're
that.
killing it.
I'm never going to be asked to host again. So
Switching
yeah,
up.
I think Cayse and JP were talking a little bit earlier about something that they're really excited for.
Yeah,
coming up.
so right now we're recording on March 2nd, 10 p.m. In a couple of hours, it'll be March 3rd, and there will be the midnight release of the Nintendo Switch, Nintendo's newest video game console. It is a portable and console hybrid. Basically, it allows you to play any game both on the TV and on the go wherever you want, whenever you want.
Sounds like the Game Boy.
It's cool. The biggest flagship game they're pushing right now is Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. It's been getting critical acclaim from multiple video game reviewers. It has like a 98 on Metacritic right now, and it's the fourth, if I'm not mistaken, the fourth highest rated game of all time on Metacritic, behind Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2.
Ooh, classic.
That's a good one.
Maybe Tony
I
Hawk.
think GTA 4 is up there too, and Ocarina of Time.
Wow.
So- What?
So that's gonna
With
be a
some
pretty
people
good
even
game.
thinking it's better than Ocarina of Time
Yep.
already.
There have been reviewers who are saying that this may surpass Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time as the best Zelda game of all time, and
Oh
one of
my
the
gosh.
and one of the best games of all time. Zach, I'm actually gonna throw your computer across the room.
That was an
So-
audio clip that Zach has of me from the first. Was that the
Lost
first one?
episode. That
The
was
Lost episode.
Lost.
Thank God that got lost.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, I heard you guys talking about how you are not going to brave the midnight crowd tonight. So if
What?
this...
Oh, what are you talking about? Of course we have to go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The funny thing about that is, I think we talked about this in a previous episode, but the Nintendo Switch, it sold out pre-orders literally 10 minutes after, not even 10 minutes,
Not
a
even
couple
that,
of
yeah.
minutes after they went live.
That's insane.
The hype for this thing has been unreal, and something very thankfully that Nintendo has been improving on is their marketing. I'm seeing more commercials on TV. I'm seeing more things on YouTube, various print ads, and various guerrilla marketing tactics.
So is
outside.
that what is enticing the customers to be
I'd say so.
so excited
That's a big
about this
part of it.
particular one?
The biggest thing is that they've been very clear on what the console is. Like, the marketing has been so succinct and clear that people are aware of it as a product, and they're aware of what it can do, which is a big improvement from the company's previous console, the Wii U, which people didn't really know what it was.
Mm-hmm.
So
I still don't understand why everything was on the controller, but then there was also the main console.
on the Wii U.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, the fact that it was tied to the Wii brand, which is something that confused many consumers even before the thing was released. And two, a lot of companies weren't able to utilize that function effectively. You'd see various games, here and there, but for the most part, it was basically just a really fat controller with a screen that didn't really do anything but show
but showed-
exactly
It's
what was
kind
on
of way
TV.
too large, to be
Yeah.
honest, to be a controller.
It was really confusing. Did you see though the thing that you can get for your phone, where you just put your phone in it and it turns your
and it
phone
turns
into
your
a Game
phone
Boy?
into a Game Boy.
So I
Yes.
mean, like, why do we need a new thing?
Why change though? Why improve?
What?
Improve? No.
Aren't we good at the bottom?
Audience, I'm going to give you a task. If you can figure out which one is the what soundboard and which one's the what me, good on you.
Good on you. You're not gonna win anything, but
Also, here's a good drinking game. Drink every time somebody says, "What?"
That was NPR voice right there.
Yeah, that was actually not. That was the soundboard one. But it's cool, I'm really excited for it. There's a lot of really cool games that are going to be pushed throughout all of 2017, which is something I would be much happy for rather than a bunch of games in the beginning and then nothing for like 6 or 7 months. Their strategy is to basically have a gradual release of titles. So by the end of 2017, there is a good library that has been steadily released so as to not waver or lose attention for the console. It's cool, and I'm really liking it.
The only other
so they're
thing
actually
is
planning it.
That's kind of where I think they've lacked still. I mean, a big part of when this came out, when they announced that they were bringing in a lot of other developers, such as Bethesda, bringing Skyrim in, FIFA's coming in, NBA 2K's coming in, trying to draw in some of the Xbox and the PlayStation crowd. The problem is you gave them exact like what's been out for years. Like, there's nothing new. Like, Skyrim came out in 2011. Everyone's played this game. Why are you re-releasing it again?
But we got a new console, though.
But we have a new console.
It's
Just
shiny.
re-released it too.
Yeah, exactly. They just re-released it. I mean, had they come out with another Elder Scrolls game, that's one thing. And maybe they are in development of something because I keep hearing rumors they're talking about it already. So maybe that's the point. They just want to put some stuff out there. They'll see how it does. If it does well enough, then like, okay, we will make another one.
Skyrim 1.5.
The unreleased edition.
Actually, if you count the DLCs and then everything, it's actually 1.6.
Oh.
So what would have to happen with the Switch to make you not
Not
endorse it later?
Oh, that's a good question. I guess the thing for
It
me,
blowing up.
one
Well, that would be
Note
one.
7.
You hear that,
R.I.P.
Samsung? Yeah.
Too soon.
pouring out. Yeah, I think the thing that I would not want to see for the console is if I don't really care so much about the battery, but if the thing like the battery deteriorates over time, or like it's the same with my iPhone, for example. I used to be able to charge it and then it would last me for hours on end. Now a full charge will last me like a couple hours. It's granted it's an old phone, but it's the same thing. Like I want the software, or rather the hardware, to last. Is it durable? Can it last for a long enough period of time? Like, those are things I want. If it's kind of just sitting there in the dock and it's just all I'm doing is playing it on the TV, that's cool, but that's not what I want the system. If I wanted that, I could pick up a PS4 or an Xbox One. That's I'm getting the Switch because I can literally switch how I play.
I want all in one.
I want to be.
There it is.
I want to be able to
See what they did there.
I want to be able to take it with me on the go. I want to be able to play it at my place, then take it to my friend's house, play it there, use the detachable controllers, give it to somebody, utilize the local co-op. I want all that things that emphasize local co-op, but also the fact that it's portable as well.
Is it going to have the friend features like the 3DS?
In terms of like friend codes and stuff?
Yeah.
That's interesting you bring that up, because it was just said that apparently there are friend codes still in the Switch, though a recent report on, I believe, Polygon.com said that there is going to be an update where they improve upon those friend software and those friend capabilities. Friend codes kind of suck. They were there for the Wii, they were there for the 3DS, and it's kind of cumbersome to like have to put in a 16-digit number just to add somebody.
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't like updated that to like the proximity thing.
Yeah.
Or...
The Wii U had
Like
Nintendo
Tinder.
ID.
Do they have Tinder for the Switch?
Yeah.
Tinder Switch.
I can't wait to borrow yours.
Switch date. It's cool. It's
Switch date.
I want my system to be easy to use. I want it to be portable. I want it to have good games. So
You guys want to switch and chill?
Nintendo. Get this man a sponsorship.
So shout outs to
Chill all day.
Nintendo.
All right.
Don't screw up the system, and
Yeah.
you
For the
guys should be
love of
great.
God.
You have one job.
This is your last chance. Like, literally, this is your last chance.
Snitches get switches.
So
guess
here's
So
the,
you're rewarding them? What the fuck?
the ultimate question. Will it have Pokemon Go?
Ooh, that's a good question. Here the
Yes,
thing
no.
is, the thing is, Pokemon Go has been doing so well for smartphones, right? But when you think about it, the Nintendo Switch, it's kind of like a tablet. It's like a mini tablet, right? So you have to think, is it effectively able to be utilized on the go just like that? It would be cool. I would love to see not even Pokemon Go, but just a full-fledged Pokemon game on there, right? Because you're talking...
Well, there's going to be. They've already announced it.
Exactly. A Pokemon game that you can play both on your TV and on the go. That's baller.
Oh, that's very
That's
cool.
Yeah,
sick.
it'll
Yeah.
be around.
But
Yeah.
Pokemon Go, I mean, I don't see why they shouldn't. It's been a huge thing for the Pokemon company and for Nintendo overall. So
Does it have a camera on it?
I'm not sure. I didn't see one.
Oh, that would
No,
be
it
like
doesn't.
the biggest kicker on
I don't think it
point.
does.
Yeah.
Pokemon Go since it's AR.
Yeah.
Is it
But-
computing hardware on the tablet?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
basically, the screen. The cool thing about the Switch is it's both a console and a screen itself, right? So when you pick it up, it literally looks like a little iPad, but that's the console itself. Everything is there, and so all the computing is stuff right in the screen with the actual hardware itself. So yeah, it's like an all-inclusive, portable console hybrid. It's pretty cool.
So basically, we know that if neither of you show up to the next podcast recording, that you're
I'm gonna be playing
I'll be
Zelda.
playing Breath of the Wild.
I'm gonna be
yes.
playing Zelda for like
I
the
will.
rest of my life.
and Cayse apparently is picking his up tomorrow in order to
Oh yeah, I
Good
will.
luck.
utilize his efficient timing. with,
I'll be at Best Buy at 8 in the morning, dude. I'll sit there for 2 hours.
Good luck, my friend. But it's cool.
Bitch, please.
But-
I did it for like every other console I've ever gotten. Like literally the day of, I just walked right in the minute they opened, grabbed it and left. Never had a problem.
nice.
Even with the Xbox One, never had a problem. I was probably one of the last people going in there, and I was like, "Silly, thanks." Left.
Yeah, it just depends on where you go and.
And
you know.
honestly, I mean, yeah, it's been big, but I don't know. I mean, I think there will be a pretty decent crowd tonight, but I don't know. I think come tomorrow, I don't think you're gonna see a big crowd. I really don't. If I see more than like 10 people there, I'd be stunned.
I called GameStop a couple of days ago asking if they had any like leftover consoles that weren't for pre-order, and he said every single console that they had was pre-order, and every single one was sold out.
Wow.
So I guess it shows you just how much people want it. That doesn't really say much though, because I think people have to consider that every console always sells out pre-orders,
Exactly.
regardless of how it's
Always.
marketed, regardless of what company it is. They always sell those pre-orders because of the hype behind them.
Yeah.
You always have those early adopters that want to get. That's not just video game consoles. That's anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's any technology.
Like the iPhone lines that you
Yup,
see for like
absolutely.
3 weeks
Apple's
straight.
Insane.
Apple's so good on that.
Jeez.
How fun would it be to just drive past a couple of those lines, like just have a route, and just egg everyone? Nerds, Doyle rules. Just egg everyone.
It's changed the way things are marketed. Well, they'll take like a new electronic product and they'll purposefully sell it out for like 200 over the market price they're going to use later, just because they know a bunch of rich people are going to buy out whatever new toy comes out,
Yeah.
and then they lower the price.
And then they have
afterwards.
those limited editions, whatever that is. It's like, dipped in gold or
Yeah.
Yep.
crystal.
Yup.
or-
Swarovski diamonds.
Yeah.
I
I'll
want
buy
a
a gold
diamond
Switch.
Switch.
Dude, why not?
Ooh.
Yeah, gold Switch. Yeah.
You know the cool thing about
Gold
Switch, the
Switch.
Nintendo Switch, Doug, is that you can play it anywhere. You know another place you could play it on?
Huh.
You could play it on a boat.
On a
Oh, that
boat.
sounds like a. Is that transition?
I'm
I
on a
think-
I'll have to
boat.
ask the
That was
host.
a very, very bad one, but I mean, you know.
Oh,
I was gonna do the whole. Speaking of being on the go.
Ooh.
Ooh. Someone's stealing my hosting job.
Duh.
So yeah, Doug.
What?
Doug's
What
got
was-
cruises on the brain apparently.
yeah, man. My professor today was talking about this story, I guess, about how it's kind of off topic a little bit, but anyway, about how at the bottom of the Marianas Trench they finally sent, I guess they had some sort of submersible down there, like the U.S. Alvin, I think, and they got.
That's
some-
where James Cameron went. I swear to God.
Really?
That's where he did his research for Avatar.
Damn.
I'll never
There
let
you
go,
go.
James.
He's such a cool guy if you just watch his documentary.
I'm sure he probably heard about this too.
He's like, I'm going to the bottom of the ocean by myself, gang. Here we go.
Every night,
Hey,
Gonna see some
Titanic.
aliens.
the new Avatar is going to be underwater, right?
Yeah.
Is it really?
Exactly. See where I'm going with this?
And so
See where
this-
he's going with
This
this?
next part probably will make it.
Is the
into
Avatar the
film,
name
I'm
of the
sure.
boat?
They turned on the lights when they were underwater near the bottom. Like I think they were 5 miles down at this point, and they found a Budweiser can. And so it was pretty hilarious to
Wait,
find
and it
out.
was dark and they saw it?
Well, they turned on the lights.
Oh,
to
they
look,
turned it
yeah.
back on. They turned off the lights and turned it back on. They're like, oh, Budweiser can.
Exactly, a wild Budweiser can in its natural habitat. No,
They
so it
put
was
up
really
the
interesting
red
to think
lights.
that like not only in space have we thrown garbage everywhere, but like now at the deepest point of the Earth, we have now marked it with
Seriously.
Budweiser cans.
Humans are the worst.
And they also found a bunch of terrible like chemical concentrations down there. But that's besides the point. I wanted to know where the can came from, and of course, a cruise
That was
ship.
me, sorry.
Shelby must
a
have
cruise
been on
ship?
a cruise ship.
Shelby has
Just
really
tossed it
good-
up.
I was
Like a really
cruising and
strong arm.
boozing.
She tossed
So-
it from here.
I was
wanted-
like, this is going to go to the bottom of the trench.
I will be the first.
I wanted to talk about cruise ships because I had never been on one before until like about a year or two ago.
Ooh.
It was kind of surreal. Like I spent like $600 just drinking, which is like really
Ooh.
crazy.
Nice.
Sick.
But we went
Not
to
enough.
Yeah, right. We went to 3 different like locations, like Mexico and stuff like that. And I was thinking, like, do you guys consider that actual like tourism, like actually checking out the country? What do you think?
Doing a cruise ship?
I think it depends where you go and what part of that
yeah.
place you go to.
It's definitely tourism.
How
I
much
agree with that.
terrain you cover and how much time you're there
Well,
for.
that's the thing, though. With a lot of those cruise ships, you don't really have a lot of time to go far. Really, you're stopped there for like what, a couple hours, then you have to get right back on the boat.
Because if you don't get back on the boat, they like leave you there.
it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
peace out, homie. You're gone.
I've only been on one, and we stopped at one place, so it was literally like me going out of the country for the very first time ever, thinking that I was accomplishing something. And we purposely went away from the typical like port and hang out in there.
Because it's
And-
usually pretty touristy. They cater
yeah,
it towards
like they had
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the senor
Making-
frogs there
yeah,
and stuff.
exactly.
So we just went to a restaurant because again we didn't really have a lot of time, but we specifically went a little bit further out, took a taxi out there and everything, and had what was the very first time I've ever enjoyed guacamole in my life, and it was so good. I had like potato soup and just fajitas, and it was amazing. And now I'm hungry. But yeah,
Don't talk
so
to me about
I think
that.
it,
Sounds
I think it
delicious.
can
Don't talk to me
be,
about guacamole.
there's the tourism side of things, but I think it can be authentic to some degree, but not nearly enough. Like you can get a few blocks inward and you're still going
Yeah,
to
you're not
be-
really experiencing the true culture
Yeah.
when you're only there for a day.
It's kind of like they want the culture to be
Or half
similar
day.
enough to yours so that you don't feel too uncomfortable.
Yeah.
If
very
you're
true. Yeah.
still passing ladies who are doing cornrows for white little girls, you're probably not far enough into the actual country
Oh no,
enough.
no.
A friend of mine, he was on a cruise. He went to Jamaica, and he of course wanted to buy Jamaican weed.
Nice.
And of course,
Obviously.
he found some guy and I was like,
Always
"Meet
on the
me
beach.
here. Give me $40." He gave it to him. The guy just ran off.
Oh, sick.
So my friend chased him and was like, "Hey!" And then the guy started yelling to the cops that this guy was trying to sell him drugs. So,
Backfired.
yeah. Anyway,
That's awkward. But he had the drugs on him, or he probably didn't have any at all.
who knows? Yeah, I mean, tourists,
Yeah.
But it just made me wonder, like, because I remember reading this article about how tourism had become kind of postmodern, and so instead of tourist companies making a product for everybody, instead they kind of pitch it to you. They try to make it like customize it in your image, and so you see like Norwegian cruises have these freestyle cruises where it's like you build your own day. You don't have to. You don't have like your own. You don't have like a schedule that everybody does.
Well,
Like,
that
you
makes sense because
choose.
everything is customized now.
Right? Yeah, like an iPod. It's
Yeah.
yours. It's like this postmodern form of marketing.
Yeah, for sure.
And it also becomes very inauthentic in the way that, even like sushi, where sushi has cream cheese and all of it, because that's not real. The ingredients that we put in foods is targeted for Americans
Right.
or
Right.
It's like more
white
Western
Americans,
audiences. Yeah.
or to specifically kind of make you feel like you're experiencing something new, but it's not real. It's very much like created for you, manufactured.
Yeah.
I've never been on a cruise myself. My parents, actually, no, my dad's been on like plenty of cruises to like the Caribbean and stuff when he was working as a police officer. But I would love to go on a cruise, man. I feel like it. I don't know. I love like the water, and I would probably just camp out in my room if I had a Switch. I'd play Switch. But nah, dude, like they have like water slides and stuff just to go on the islands, and it looks sick, man.
I'd be too
I'd love
drunk
to.
move.
Yeah.
Cruises are the most efficient vacations. You pay one flat fee, except maybe the excursions that you do when you go. You get to travel to one or more places. All of your food's taken care of. The one that I went on, I didn't do it because I don't think I was ever hungry enough, but you can get a lobster dinner and then be like, I'll have another, and get another full lobster dinner and not have to pay anything different.
That's not fair.
Yeah.
Now I want lobster.
Yeah.
It's always the alcohol that they get you with, though.
Yeah, the alcohol.
Yeah.
However, I will admit I did the water bottle trick.
Ooh,
There you go.
always.
What's the
Yes.
water bottle trick? What's
You
that?
just take a bunch of water and just keep on drinking.
You
it.
just drink water the whole
drink water.
time.
You really stay hydrated.
You trick yourself into thinking you get
no
drunk.
But you don't at all.
mouthwash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you take the big bottles and you like pry off the cap where it's not unsealed, and then you replace the water with a clear liquor.
So
Put
it
it
has
in your
to be
suitcase.
like vodka or something, though.
Yeah, vodka, rum, something like that.
So you're taking your own alcohol onto the
Yes,
boat.
it's very risky because they will potentially search your bags, and it is kind of a common thing that people do. So I think they look out for it every now and then.
Oh
but
yeah, people think they're sneaky.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why they.
Definitely not.
Yeah, I know when I used to go to Washington D.C. for debate club,
Fucking nerd.
they would have to. What they would do is
I'm gonna egg you tonight
duh.
as you're in line for your
they would,
Switch.
they would have to smell the bottles, like any bottles you had, whether it was shampoo, soap, anything. They would always open the bottles and smell them.
yeah.
Speaking of,
That's a sucky job for somebody who's like,
Seriously,
you
I
get to
sit there and
smell all
open
these
bottles and
chemicals,
smell
have
shit.
fun.
Yeah.
me and my friends, when we smuggled alcohol onto this cruise, we smuggled it in shampoo bottles and Axe body wash bottles.
Ew.
And no matter
Nobody
how
wants
much,
to smell that.
no matter how much we rinse them with soap and water, it's
not
still
worth
it still made it taste like soap,
That stuff sinks into your skin.
and it was bad.
Ew.
It was real bad.
Real bad.
It's very startling.
That was
that
the more
was
you know.
that was majestic.
That was awesome.
Anyway, yeah, I just wanted to bring it up because I feel like, yeah, like you said, cruises are really efficient, but like how much of the culture are you actually getting, right? You're
You
like,
guys should actually
You're
look
not.
into like the darker stories of cruises.
Oh,
Which
no.
Of course, I'm gonna go in that direction because there's some crazy
Let's do
stories.
it. Let's do it. Tell me some things.
Okay, I went on a cruise one time, and
that's not true.
No, it's not. I lied. I went on a cruise one time, and it was for my dad's business. He would always, take his coworkers and colleagues out for like a marketing thing every year. And this one year, it was myself and my stepsister, and we were teenagers, so we went up to the top bar, where you overlook the whole ship. We met this bartender who, his name was like Sanjay or something like that. He was really funny, really nice guy. And we ended up making friends with him, and he invited us one night to go see the dolphins in this particular part of the ocean on the back of the cruise ship.
It's just behind this little cave here.
And of course,
boy.
me and my stepsister were like, "Oh yeah, we're definitely gonna be there. We're gonna ask our parents.
Dolphins.
In the darkest, creepiest corner, we'll be there." And so we went and we asked our parents, and of course they were like, "No, you guys are no. Why would you think that's a good idea?" And so obviously we weren't allowed to go see the dolphins that didn't exist on the back of the boat when it was super dark out. And so we get home, and I think it was probably like 2 or 3 years later, my stepmom is watching one of those shows on, I don't know.
Investigative Discovery.
Yeah,
or something.
exactly. And it's like, cruise has gone wrong. And she's like, watching it. And I walk into her bedroom, and she goes, "You have to sit down and watch this." And I was like, "What?" And so she rewinded it. And it was this story that this girl was talking about how this guy who worked on the cruise ship told her that he wanted her to come see the dolphins in a certain part of the ocean
shit.
at a certain part of night on the back of the boat. And she almost got thrown off.
Wow.
Why would you do that? Like,
Yeah.
what?
Like, what's the purpose?
I'm just going to throw off random girls off the boat.
Well, I
just
mean,
to
I don't know.
be a murderer.
Then it's asking, like, why do people do crazy things?
Yeah.
It's
That's
just
bizarre, dude.
one of those things. And yeah, you got to watch out for people that work on cruise ships sometimes.
Speaking of, my girlfriend Trisha, watch out for her. No,
Shout out, name
Sounds
drop.
right.
She worked
She
on
was
a
kinda
cruise ship, and
shady.
she got me and help.
she worked on a cruise for a few years, and she
Nice.
told me
Oh,
some
man.
interesting stuff. One of the
I bet she has good stories.
one of the more incredible things to me, and this probably isn't even that special, but for me it stood out so much. They had like a crew bar that they would go to, and they would drink alcohol, and it was like super discounted. It was like $2 for like any mixed drink you wanted, basically. And like
That's
a
Jesus.
$1 for a
Amazing.
beer. And
That's
she
not
told
fair.
me even with that much of a discount, there was still people that would like owe money by the end of their paycheck
Oh
from
my
drinking
God.
there
That's
so much.
crazy, dude.
Damn.
But I mean, like, imagine that place though. Like, imagine like working on a cruise ship's got to be fun for like a couple weeks. You're like, yeah, this is the
For a
shit.
couple weeks, yeah, it's probably
Yeah.
like working at a
And then
hotel
you
here.
realize it's a giant floating high school. And if A sleeps with B, then everybody knows,
Oh,
and it becomes like this
no.
big gossip trap. Like,
Just
it's gotta
watch
be the worst.
That's
That
exactly
drama.
like working hospitality in Orlando.
Yep.
Oh, Universal.
Yeah, it's the hospitality industry just
Yeah, the
really confined.
Hospitality service industry.
Yeah.
All young in their 20s sleeping with each other and shit like that.
Yep.
She said like the crew, like all the officers and the captains and stuff would all like cheat on their wives like nonstop the whole time they were on
yeah,
there.
remind me
That
to
doesn't
not
surprise me.
ever date somebody.
Date a captain?
So do you guys want to go on a cruise?
Yo, I'm
Yeah.
so
Let's
down.
go. Let's go.
Yo, how about this? Let's do a podcast on a cruise.
Let's
Homie.
do it. Let's do it.
Let's get
On a
big
boat.
enough. Let's get big enough so that people can like kickstart us or Patreon us enough money to go on a cruise and have a podcast there. If we
that'd
get,
be
you
cool.
know, yeah.
Well, we can't do either of those things until we make one.
So speaking of
Something-
cruises and voyages, I believe we were going to talk about a voyage to the final frontier, I believe.
Ooh,
Yeah.
space.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about a whole new type of
Space.
vacation.
Space. Sir.
So, Case, how about you intro?
Space.
I don't know about this one.
So
Case knows more.
SpaceX just decided that, 2018, we're going to start flying people around the moon because we're awesome like that.
To the moon.
And I'm going to be honest, that's all I really know. But it looked
So-
amazing.
Yeah, so I started
They're
looking it up a little bit, and one of the things that they're saying, and this is a Gizmodo article, so I don't necessarily know the full extent of the fact checking.
Fake news.
Is the
But-
fake news.
You fake news.
But apparently, the people selected are going to have to make a significant deposit,
Of course.
obviously. So
Of course.
nice and rich people.
At least $1.
They are going to be required to have, of course, as I was trying to read further, I lost my spot. They must have a bachelor's degree in engineering, biological science, physical science, computer science,
I'm
or
out.
mathematics. and
Overachievers.
and
Only
So
nerds.
they basically
but
have to be
also-
astronauts.
A rich
Yes.
nerd. Yeah.
And then it says, and that must be followed by at least 3 years of related, progressively responsible professional experience, or at least 1,000 pilot in command time in jet aircraft.
Okay,
much
this
money?
sounds like
Yeah.
every resume I'm trying to apply to right
significant-
now.
Pretty much.
So
Welcome
it's
to
an
the job
entry
market in
level
America.
tourist position
Entry level.
with a required 10 years experience, just like every other entry level job. But yeah, the title of this article that goes into more detail about the difference between people who can afford it and people who are likely to have all or any of those skills is called "Money Won't Save SpaceX's Moon Tourists If Something Goes Wrong."
Jesus.
So it makes sense that they're trying to,
That you
have
could-
some,
Yeah.
People that
especially
know
at the
what they're
beginning.
doing.
Yeah. But you would think they would have.
Well, yeah, because they can already shove monkeys in there. I mean,
We don't care
Yeah,
about you,
we don't
animal.
Care about you. Just go. Have fun.
Monkey's like, what the?
What is going on?
I feel like if you were to go to the moon, I mean, the journey would probably be really cool, and being able to see that the fact that you're on the moon, maybe take an Instagram, the fact that you're on the moon, but
just to say you did it.
I-
Otherwise,
I-
it didn't happen.
exactly,
Pixar, it didn't happen.
That's exactly, because you're there and you're just standing on the moon in your little spacesuit. Oh, look at me. And then you look around and there's literally nothing but just gray and craters, and then you just want to go home.
Yeah, but you know what? You're missing the weightlessness. That would be pretty cool.
That's a
That
good
would be
point.
pretty
1/10 the
fair.
weight. Come on, you can jump like 20 feet off the ground.
But like, OK Go
That'd be
did
kind of
that
cool.
and didn't have to leave the planet.
Wait, are you? They did what? I thought they actually did go to space for that video.
Oh, obviously. Cover your ears.
Spoilers.
Cover your headphones.
Dumbledore dies.
Yeah, it's a
You're talking
zero
about the free
gravity
fall drop?
plane.
The zero gravity plane.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Well, that's zero gravity. I'm talking about 1/10 gravity.
Oh.
How do you replicate that?
Oh, cool.
Y'all got to go to the moon for that.
You got to go 9/10 the
But
height.
are they
with your
going on the
zero
moon or
gravity
are they going around the moon?
There's a difference.
They're going around the moon, aren't they?
Yeah.
Mm.
I think they're just like
So they're not even
bypassing
landing
that
on it.
sucker.
How much would you pay? Like,
I
how
don't
many
know.
months
Honestly-
of pay would you give up of whatever job you have now? Like, how many months of pay would you give up to go to the moon?
To go to the moon?
I
Yeah.
don't know because I would potentially die.
I'd give up.
So I would be like, should I give something up or should you be giving me something?
I'm doing this for you.
So negative money for Shelby.
Let's see. I could potentially die.
I would pay-
$200,000.
I'd
you go.
do a year's salary or
I would-
more, maybe.
I'd pay at least $5. At least.
Dude, so you get to like ride around the moon. Like that's
We're
pretty
definitely
awesome.
not getting picked for this.
Oh no. Oh no.
I'm like,
Hey,
you're the lab
imagining
rats.
the day's going to come where we, like apply for it and they sit us down in a room to be like, tell me why you should be selected as the first tourist to travel around the moon. This is very innovative and wonderful. And then we're like, blah, 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 bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. And then,
Oh shit,
and then all of a sudden they're like, no, I just have one more question for you. can you explain this? And then they played this podcast.
Can you explain
Nope.
why
Well,
you acted this way?
That's when you moonwalk out of the room.
Yep.
They'll ask why we are qualified to go on to this trip, and I'll be like, "Do you know who I am? I have a podcast."
Like, I beat Majora's Mask so many times. I have so much experience with the moon.
I play Space Invaders.
I'm a cast of a world-renowned. It's not world-renowned. I'm a part of a podcast. Are you a part of a podcast?
So is sex in space very different?
That's
I heard
like
that it's
the
impossible.
That's like the
Yeah.
10 Mile Club, right?
I
Do you
like how
think
you're
it's
asking.
Is it
Is it
really
not-
impossible?
I heard that it was a threat to humanity's current like survival. Like if we ever got stuck like in space, like the only survivors being on like a craft or something.
Right.
Apparently, procreation in
Okay.
space
Okay.
would be so difficult.
Procreation
Yeah.
is impossible.
Oh, sex life.
Just
is
having
fun.
sex.
So,
yeah.
so gestation is the problem
I
as
suppose.
opposed to penetration.
I mean, maybe you could penetrate, but maybe maybe
Maybe.
you were saying with zero gravity, like the stuff doesn't get where it needs to go.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, it's not going to
It'd
go.
be like floating around in a snow globe.
It'll just sit in the uterus, or not in the uterus. And see, I know science. I know anatomy.
Anatomy.
Get that right.
This is why you need a degree in biology if you want to go on the moon trip.
I feel like sex in space
If
would
you want
be
to come on the cruise at all.
it'd be a very effortless experience, right? It'd be very effortless. You don't have to carry each other's weight, you know?
You need straps or something.
Yeah,
'cause
you
otherwise
definitely
you
do
would
need
just
some
like
kind of
yeah.
propulsion mechanism.
What conversation was that? Who was that? Was it Neil deGrasse Tyson talking about sex in space?
NDT.
I don't remember
I
who it
don't
was,
know.
but they were talking
Space.
that you would need straps or some sort of, something to hold
To hold you
It
down.
would be
Hold you
50
down.
Shades of Grey, no matter what.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
If it was in
It would
space.
definitely
There you
Shades
go.
of Space.
50 Shades of Space.
Exactly.
See, they're already ahead of the game. They already know, like, they're having future sex, you know, all of them, all the people that are into
Yeah.
those type of.
I'm just having
They're
past
preparing
sex. I'm just
for
having
the
past
future.
sex. I
They're
don't know what that
preparing
means.
for space
Sex isn't the same anymore with gravity. Once you experience that, you just can't ever experience it again.
Stacy.
Stacy,
I can't get it up in a gravity environment. It has to be zero gravity.
It just doesn't do it for me at all.
Space
Sorry,
is,
it's not you, it's me.
space is cool, man. I feel like we just talk about space all the time because space is. I don't know. This is gonna sound really weird, but I love space. I love like stars and stuff. I talked about this last podcast.
Who doesn't?
It's a good
I don't-
point. Yeah.
There's not a lot of people I meet
That
that
don't
come
like
across that are
stars.
like,
I
dude,
hate
space
stars.
is so boring.
I hate space.
I don't
Space
wanna
is
see 'em.
horrible.
Do you
I
like
hate
more?
planets.
Do you like more like celebrity stars, like YouTube stars?
No, I hate all of it.
Okay.
YouTube stars
I
are
tried.
horrible.
You,
Anything even like tangentially related to space, you're like, fuck that.
These have all been just incredible
I don't even,
segues. Oh my god. Thank you.
so Zach has a whole bunch of soundboard and sound
That
bites
he
and
apparently
stuff.
hasn't been
Yeah,
using.
he's really stepping it up. This,
Audience-
episode.
And actually, I think Zach wanted to talk about something this episode.
I did.
Before we get to
Yeah.
that, audience, I want to level with you on something. So Zach,
Oh, this is
he's our
getting
sound guy,
serious.
right? You know, you don't realize how much power Zach has.
Oh, there's a camera over here.
Okay, Zach, he with the press of a button, he can make a bunch of crickets talk. With the press of a button, he can make Shelby go. And what was that thing? The Antarctica thing?
No.
Antarctica?
That thing. So you don't realize how much power this man has. Just keep that in mind when you're
It was a
listening to
long
this
night.
podcast. Okay. But yeah, you want to talk about something, Zach?
I don't know what.
So I actually have a story.
Oh crap! All right.
So we were talking about space and stars compared to Hollywood stars.
Segues.
And segues are my
Killing it.
jam. I was recently traveling, again, another segue, for work, and got on a flight to Atlanta, and not in first class, but right behind first class. Who do I see? But none other than one of our celebrities that we were talking about on the last podcast, Chandler Riggs.
If you don't know who Chandler Riggs is,
Coral.
Coral. So Carl.
Did you guys check the link dump from last week's episode? I put a video of every single time Rick says Carl's name.
Yeah.
And it's just him repeatedly going, Coral. So,
Can we all get our corals out real quick?
yes.
all right, 1, 2, 3.
Or Jessica.
Oh.
So where were you guys when I was on that
Carl.
flight? Because as I was walking
We
past
would
him,
have
I
been
was-
getting kicked off.
You're on the group chat. That's where we were.
so we were standing in line, and I was pretty much right diagonal to him. He was already in a seat, and I was waiting for one person to put their bag up. So I was standing there for a minute, but then clearly had to start moving in a minute. And I kind of had an internal little freak out, and I forgot his name.
Oh my God, it's Squirrel. Oh my God, it's Squirrel.
Yeah, in my head, I was literally just like, Coral. And I didn't want to say that out loud. And so I was like, I can only say something to him if I can say like, hey, Chandler. But no, I forgot his freaking name, even though I had literally just said it like 24 hours before.
Did you just call him Carl?
I didn't say anything. And so that's what I wanted to talk about.
Slapped him in the face when you walked by. Not said anything.
Yeah, so I didn't say anything, but what I did manage to do is try to take a creepy ass photo. So I pulled out my phone because I didn't think anyone would believe me. Pulled out my phone, didn't hit photo, hit record. So it's this creepy 5-second video of his face looking at his own phone, and then the aisle of the airplane while I'm like shuffled along to the back of the plane where us minions belong.
Minions.
And so it led to me, really wondering not only the question of who am I to take a creepy photo of a stranger, but how we would or have encountered celebrities in public spaces and what you would do.
That's a good question. I'll say for me, like I'm a big fan of Rooster Teeth, as we talked about, the company, and that is a company of hundreds of employees. A lot of them being cast members on various productions and live productions. I've seen various fans who they go up to these people who are on camera all the time, and they're very, for the most part, like generous and kind, and they want to take pictures and stuff. It just depends. It depends on what type of person they are. And for me, I would probably just want to take a picture.
Yeah.
Handshake, picture, maybe an autograph if they have a pen or if I have a pen. But I don't know. I feel we have to remember that they're still people. Right?
Yeah.
At
I'd
the end of
probably
the day.
just like walk
That's the
up to his
thing.
face and give him a big sniff and then walk away and not say anything.
Who? Carl?
Yep.
That's the other thing. I just
You
don't.
smell like Carl.
No, just one. And then walk
Yeah,
away.
nothing. No,
And
no
then
words.
whisper, thanks.
Yeah, make it even worse.
Doug knows where my head's at.
Exactly.
Yeah, like he was saying, they're people. I mean, honestly, I get it. People, there's super fans out there. They freak out, but I see that and I'm like, you're a fucking moron. I'm sorry. Like, they're people. It's their job. Like anybody, everybody's got a job. The only difference is they've got a job that fascinates people. That's the only difference. So like literally, I've met a bunch of people. I'll talk to them like I'm talking to you right now. It's like, okay, yeah, so you're a famous actor. So yeah, I get paid to do things too. What do you know?
So, and I think that's the interesting part. I actually found this article that was kind of like how to handle these situations. And a lot of it comes down to there's 4 different points on there, but it really made me comfortable with the way that I acted, besides taking a creepy photo of him, which I did strictly so people would
You did
believe
good.
me. Yeah. But
You
in
done
that
good, kid.
But in that situation, it didn't make sense for me to be like, hey, can we take a selfie? Hang on, everyone else trying to get on the airplane. I need to crouch over
Yeah.
in this aisle really quick. And he had just gotten done taking a picture with somebody else who was in the row in front of him. So he was leaning forward and he was really cool about it. As I was walking up, I just heard the guy being like, oh, thanks, man. And he's like, yeah, no problem. And then went back to being on his phone. So I actually was listening to one of the Rooster Teeth podcasts, and they were talking about those encounters at their events and stuff. And one of the things that they were saying is, I just don't have time. I wish I could take a photo with everyone, but I'm going to miss my flight, or I have to get to another session or whatever. So it's not always appropriate, even though we want that experience. And it's so it's
What were
one
you
of the-
saying about Emma Watson?
Yeah. So that actually, right after I had this experience where I was like, this isn't an appropriate time to take this photo, an article came out about Emma Watson, who just said that she won't take photos with fans.
Oh,
Yeah, I read that today. Yeah.
So besides the people who have read it, I would like you to take a guess as to why she will not take a photo with fans.
Something creepy
The
happened.
same reason Nightwish's singer won't hug male fans.
Ooh, that's a topic.
Creepiness.
Creepiness.
I have
I
a
don't
guess.
blame her, to be fair.
Obsessive fans.
I have a guess. Does it have to do with the fact that she's a Gryffindor when she should actually be a Ravenclaw? And it pisses me off that she's a Gryffindor.
All right, JP.
That theory's already
Ravenclaw's-
been debunked.
Ravenclaw.
You'll never be
Yeah.
together.
It's been debunked that
Ravenclaw's
she's
better.
not a Ravenclaw.
Yeah,
Scientifically
it's
proven.
Yeah, as to why.
Scientifically.
As to
With
why
fact.
J.K. Rowling didn't put her in Ravenclaw. Well, besides, the whole plot of the story.
Well,
But
I mean, she
anyways.
kinda had-
Yeah, so the reasoning behind it is she basically is quoted saying it's the difference. God damn it, I keep scrolling past my thing.
Is that part of the tweet too?
God damn it, yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah. So she says, quote, "For me, it's the difference between being able to have a life and not. If someone takes a photograph of me and posts it, within 2 seconds, they've created a marker of exactly where I am within 10 meters. They can see what I'm wearing and who I'm with. I just can't give that tracking data." So while we have the Amy Schumers of the world who specifically stopped taking photos with fans because of an actual creepy event that happened to her, hers seems a little more proactive. She does go on to further describe how the Harry Potter fandom is like really obsessive.
Yep.
Can you imagine you would get nothing
Yeah.
done in your
Oh no,
day?
never.
Exactly.
Never.
Well, even Amy Schumer's experience was I think speaks volume to what people think celebrities are, because he not only was creepy, he also was like just so entitled. He
Yeah.
was like, literally, you have to do this.
Yeah.
You're supposed to do this
Right.
for me because you're famous. Like
Yeah.
I don't remember the exact
Yeah, I
exchange,
don't remember
but
the exact quote, but he was the
it
one
was like,
saying,
you don't have the privilege of turning me down.
Yeah.
Like, you have to do this. Like, you're my puppet kind of thing.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
I own
ridiculous.
you. The world owns you because of your celebrity status. And that's just absurd.
another quarter
It's so
in.
absurd.
And I think also something we were talking about, I think it's important to compare the difference between a Hollywood star and an online star, right? Online stars, realistically, they don't, I don't want to say they don't matter, but compared to like the big budgets of Hollywood films, you know, yeah, they're really good personalities.
I would actually say that I think YouTube stars are probably going to start becoming as famous because they're capturing a different age generation. But as that age generation becomes like, you know, more and more mainstream, once we have all the PewDiePie fans that are becoming full-fledged adults, that's going to legitimize PewDiePie even more, right?
Yeah,
It legitimize like the YouTube stardom. I think they're just so new. They don't have the same prestige as like Hollywood, because Hollywood's been around for 100 years.
Of course.
And Hollywood has a lot more money behind them.
Yeah,
There will be
Yeah.
some way how to market them in the future. Maybe not right now because they can't figure out, solid
Yeah.
income for all of them without having issues. But until that day,
Yeah, but if you
I
say-
think there's going to be some crossover at some point.
When it comes to legitimacy, I mean, what is the legitimacy? Like, what metric are you measuring that on? Because if you're measured on viewership alone, some people on YouTube are getting more views getting more views than mainstream television, like news
yeah.
networks.
for sure.
You know?
I guess this is the biggest thing. What I see the main difference between like a Hollywood star and a online star is the fact that online stars are more prone to fan engagement, right? If you're talking about a YouTube star, right?
Yeah, because they know they're more up to date.
Yeah,
with
the
culture.
basis of that YouTube stardom is the fact that they're able to be so close to their fans. You know, whereas for celebrities in Hollywood, that's not necessarily the case because they're acting on big budgets and they're not really talking with fans near as much.
Yeah,
as,
they're
say,
on top
somebody
of the
YouTube.
stage. They're on top of the pedestal, and they're unobtainable.
Whereas for YouTube stars, they're a part of the crowd.
YouTube understands that personal connection that they're trying to gain with their fandom. And I think that also...
Well, the personal connection
speaks-
is the reason they've gotten there.
That's the whole
So I
point.
think
Yeah,
that's
that's
why they
part of it.
respect their audiences because
Yeah.
they know that they would be nowhere without the
Exactly,
listeners.
yeah.
Well,
or
except
the
for
watchers.
Keemstar, who constantly yells out "fuck the fans."
Hey,
Well, you
Okay,
got like
true.
all,
Shout out
all
to
the different
Keith.
types
There's
of...
exceptions.
While
So, go ahead.
while I never got to meet Emma Watson, I did work at the Harry Potter area of Universal for almost 3 years. And so there was a lot of conventions where the stars would come to that area. And of course, they would get private walkthroughs of all the stores. And they were just, some of them were really weird, man. Like the guy that plays Victor Crumb, I don't know his name, but he came
Like
in
the
there.
big Russian guy.
Yeah, I think so. He came in there, and I worked in a candy store at the time. He just started sticking his hand like in the candy bins where you're supposed to scoop them out, and just started like picking up candy and eating out of his hand. And, like,
Wow.
I was like looking at the manager, and she's just shaking her head like, "Don't say anything."
he sounds like
It's Victor Crumb.
Just let him do anything.
He's a Death Eater.
he sounds like such a nice guy, homie.
And then the guy that plays Ron, I don't know his name either.
Rupert Grint.
Yeah, he came in. He was a lot shorter than I thought he would be, actually. But I remember seeing him and then nearly jumping out of like my clothing
Pantaloons.
when people started beating on the window behind me, and there was like this army of fangirls like clawing their way,
Oh,
trying to get in the
man.
building to see him. And
That's intense.
yeah,
That's crazy,
Yeah.
homie.
people are pretty crazy about that stuff.
It's been
Maybe a
so
little
long
bit.
since I've felt that strongly about a celebrity that it's hard to kind of relate to. Like, I mean, when I was a kid, you know, I probably would have clawed some eyes out to see Backstreet Boys, within 5 feet of me. But
Doug's like me too.
Oh yeah,
Back streets back.
All right.
in
All
sync.
right, so
actually.
the actor that
you've
played
done.
Victor Crumb, his name is, it's pretty.
do you really want to come into this?
Yeah.
Stanislav.
Stanislav Lansky.
Stanislav, I'm sure you're a cool guy.
Zelensky.
I just
Yeah.
my impression of you
So
was that you really like
Pay
candy.
for your candy. You
Sounds
can
like a
afford
very
it.
sounds like a very American name.
Even
Let's
at
see- let's see-
1084 a
let's
pound
see
or
if,
whatever it was.
Siri can do it better pronunciation. than
I
me,
don't think so.
right?
Oh man.
Siri, no.
Stanislav Ianovsky.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
there you
sure.
go.
I'll allow it.
All right, Siri.
Stanislav
I'll allow it.
Lansky.
So, speaking of the personalization of celebrities, that kind of reminds me of two very alternate approaches. These cameras are really more of a distraction than anything. So Jennifer Lawrence, and I don't know if any of this is satire because I've only read it in one article, but apparently Jennifer Lawrence also won't take photos with fans. And her reasoning is that she has just started to become she's very famous now, she says. So she says, I've just started becoming really rude and drawn into myself. I think that people think that we already are friends because I'm famous and they feel like they already know me, but I don't know them. I have to protect my bubble. Like, I have a weird job. Don't let this be a reality. So I think
She's kind of spot on.
For sure.
I mean, again, yeah, like we were talking about earlier, it's your obligation because you're famous to stop and
Right.
sign whatever I want, take a picture, whatever. It's like, I'm a person that has a job, that has responsibilities, just like you. Lay the fuck off.
Yeah.
I am not important.
Yeah.
And if you're in Hollywood and you think you're important, you can go fuck yourself.
Well, you know what even stigmatizes that is all those like ridiculous like tabloid like magazines that are like,
Yeah.
oh my god, they walk and dress just like us, all those type of things.
Seriously.
They make them
this
somebody else.
Yeah, it creates this like alternative reality where people obsess and think that they're something else when they're just
When they're
human
really
beings
not.
as well.
Exactly.
And
but celebrities are just like us.
yeah. But that doesn't help. Yeah, I know. It's
Yeah,
like,
it makes
it's
it
almost like
worse.
it's trying to
Yeah.
make
Makes
it
it
better, but it's
worse.
not.
Good point.
Just the fact that you have to have those pages in a magazine.
Why would they not be?
Yeah, exactly. Yes, they do also need groceries and food and wear pants that are normal.
Yeah.
So yeah, but on the and also with Jennifer Lawrence, she went through some real shit in the past. How many years ago was that now?
3-4 years.
Yeah. So she had her identity completely,
Oh right, yeah.
JP.
thrown into
To be fair, probably was.
JP hacked
I
it.
told you not to go to her house.
I know how to use computers.
But yeah,
man.
I mean, her nude body was available for public consumption without her consent, and
And then people are like, "Why are you taking those pictures? It's your fault for taking those pictures."
right,
It's like,
because
Like
we.
they've
Why
never
would you
sent
take
a
those
dick
pictures
pic
of yourself
before.
if you don't want to have a laugh?
And so, arguably,
Why-
that is a form of sexual assault, and even getting into like broader concepts of those types of things. So, of course,
I bet she doesn't put any stuff on cloud services anymore.
right.
Oh,
I
no
know.
way.
Unfortunately, because that's the only way you can get you can protect yourself is by making the changes yourself. But so I mean, it makes sense for that. But then at the other end of things, I've noticed recently that I've started feeling that like personal connection more with certain celebrities because of the social media tools that I use. So Snapchat, for instance, when I look at my stories on Snapchat of people that I follow, in between my cousin and my sister and my friend and all of these things are people like Chrissy Teigen and Anna Kendrick and stuff, and they share very I don't want to use the word intimate parts of their lives because it's not like they're like
But it is. It's like a completely
It is.
unstaged,
Yeah.
It's very
unprepared.
personal.
it's them feeding their kid breakfast in the morning and driving in their car.
It's not watching
and
them on a pre-written,
Right.
fully
Yeah.
produced show
It's-
with a writer and
Exactly. It's
real.
screenplay. Yeah. It's
yeah, and so
literally their
that
personal
is
lives.
that is becoming so integral to the way that celebrities interact with their fans, but it's also seemingly, judging by the different conversations that we're having and the different experiences that people are having, it's really is a double-edged sword. And I think that kind of applies for all of us when we talk about social media and how we kind of portray ourselves on the internet. But it is an interesting thing as fans to kind of have to do that self-reflection of, no, I don't know these people. And yes, they are people, even though I feel this really deep connection to them. Some people, for instance, Lady Gaga, her fans will not kill themselves because of her words and her music and her messages and her just identity. And so when she meets them, and I don't know of any stories where she's turned a fan away or whatever, because I know she's always on. Lady Gaga is always on. But so she'll meet with her fans, and they just, she'll go to these homeless shelters for LGBT youth and stuff. And they're just saying, your music has changed my life. It has meant so much to me.
I've seen those videos online. They're
Right?
awesome.
Yeah. And it's so beautiful and empowering, and it makes you love that person. And you can only imagine the connection that they are experiencing at that time. So trying to separate those from the ones who don't want that, I feel like that's kind of
a very hard thing to do.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's like on both sides, you have to be very disciplined, but also empathetic.
Right.
I think it's really interesting because a lot of those big figures, they've established this sort of community. When we were in school, a big thing I was trying to focus on is community building, and it's so important. Lady Gaga, she has her community is called Little Monsters, right? That's her brand.
Yep.
It's so important because it shows that these people are dedicated to that brand. They love that person. They love that whole idea. And I think it's fascinating. It shows that dedication. It shows just how willing and dedicated, how much they love that.
What is Taylor Swift fans called?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Swiffers.
Swifters?
Swifters.
Swifties?
Swiffer wet jets.
Swiffer sweepers.
That's unfortunate.
Swifter cleaner uppers. What is
Swerfs.
Swerfs.
Oh, that's sex worker exclusionary radical feminists.
it's-
not Taylor Swift.
Okay, PhD. Settle down over there.
I'm not sure about musicians or big time
Yes,
artists.
I
but
was right. They're Swifties.
Swifties.
PhDs. I didn't even know they had a name, to be honest with you.
They always
So does
have
all
names.
so does
I'm out of
all
touch.
of these fans of these megastars have like names for them? So, like
It depends.
Like a group.
I would say it depends. YouTube stars have a lot more of defined.
because I know like Justin Bieber has the Beliebers.
Yeah,
right?
it's the one.
That's the one that's been going on forever.
If
Who's a random celebrity who we can type in to see if they have
they have
a...
a community.
Here's another one for you that Doug just basically made me throw my laptop in the air so he
Yeah,
can
I saw you
learn.
guys over there playing hot potato with the freaking computer.
One of the next ones that popped up was, people also ask, what do you call the fans of My Chemical Romance? Do you want to guess?
Losers?
Man.
Losers.
Mean. Rude.
Tuna salad.
You rude.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Chemical.
Killjoys.
That's really good.
Really? Killjoy.
Where did they come up with that one?
All right.
All their music
Um,
kind of is a killjoy.
Well,
I'm just kidding.
it's a relatively new nickname
good night.
based on their latest album,
Teenager scare.
Danger Days, The True Lives of the Fabulous Killjoys.
Carl, there is a dead human in our house.
What the hell?
What was that supposed
That had literally nothing to do with what we were talking about.
Begging for me to play that.
to?
Prior to that, most fans called
Human
themselves
hands.
the MCR me.
YouTube stars have a lot of
So
established.
not
community.
losers, virgins. Okay.
Wow. I know if you guys are familiar with the Vlog Brothers, Hank Green. I forgot. Is it Tom? I forgot the other brother. Jeff Green. It's not Jeff Green. They're a really popular YouTube group, and their community is called the Nerd Fighters. It's funny as they're called Nerd Fighters, but their community is a bunch of nerds, right? I know it's John Green. John Green, the author. He's another one of the Vlog Brothers, and yeah, I think it's cool. A lot of online communities love to be able to establish their audience as having some sort of name for themselves. It's cool. It shows ownership. It shows who you like and what kind of brand you're a part of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, branding is everything.
Especially online.
Swifty.
You know what would be really useful and not useful at all at the same time? Like more 99.9% not useful.
So
but
me?
just
Sick.
All right.
an app that you could type in a celebrity's name and it'll say like, should you approach them?
The answer should always
my
be
God.
no.
Yeah, literally always no.
So you
there's like a
program it to
custom.
say
There's
no.
like a custom like this is what this celebrity
Yeah.
wants.
The no
Yeah,
button.
exactly. Like you can create a
The only
profile.
way that would work is if the people that
People would never check it.
Yeah.
They're
That's
the
just like
problem.
It's
the
so
people that-
impulsive.
Oh yeah.
The people that would like approach them are the people that don't give a fuck.
Or they would use it to
Right.
find out what their pet peeves are and then,
And then-
really mess with
Oh,
them.
that's
yes.
true.
That's
See,
just
be totally
everyone always
backfired.
gotta
Yeah,
do
they'll
it.
troll the
It
fuck out of that.
Well,
So-
this sounds like an episode of Black Mirror, homie.
right? It's
For
gonna be
sure.
like a celebrity. It's like I don't like my ears being touched, and everybody's gonna touch
Everyone's
them.
Well,
go
you
for the-
don't
yeah.
put that. You just say like, this is okay, this is okay, this is okay. Like it's consent. We're learning consent as a society, and
We should already know that.
we clearly
It
don't.
should be obvious.
Obviously.
But one example of the whole it should almost always be no to not approaching them. I actually saw a Snapchat from Chrissy Teigen that was, I feel like every time I talk, you guys. Just
No,
like
it's like-
I'm so distracted. I'm like, and then is he gonna throw it? And are they gonna catch it? Ew.
Oh, he ate it.
It's-
Ew. Okay.
Oh,
It's
he
for,
spit it.
it's for the camera audience. I'm sorry,
yes,
Alyssa.
I know, but it's
JP's
I'm
literally
like
ruining everything.
and I'm just now distracted. Anyways, so Chrissy Teigen, another example of hers was, God damn it, it's so distracting.
Something on your head.
I know that.
Something on your head.
That reminds me of a story.
I'm like
So Chrissy
fainting goat.
Teigen, right?
Okay. So Chrissy Teigen was at the airport one time. I think she was at the airport, and she was standing there with her book.
I saw this.
And so she's just standing there and no one's coming up to her at all. But there's like a row of like her books with her face on them. And she's just like, anyone?
So she had no plan.
Anyone?
This wasn't a plan at all. She just saw him, and then she's like,
Yeah, she was just
"I'm gonna
at a
stand here."
bookstore and
Oh,
no one
okay.
recognized her
That's
is the point. And
I
so
thought
she
you were
was
going to talk about another celebrity
I would
who
totally
got
pull one of those
chased
off.
through the airport.
Oh, no.
I didn't remember who that
Jesus.
was, but that was a recent thing. She
Oh.
was running through the airport like almost in tears, and
Oh,
people were
geez.
still chasing her. Like paparazzi was crazy.
No, yeah, see, that's nuts. I really wish people would stop supporting the industry that paparazzi make their money from.
So
Seriously.
insane.
Shout outs to TMZ. You guys are doing great.
You know who is doing really well with
Real
social media right now,
respectable.
though?
Who's that?
Wendy's.
Wendy's for the win.
Wendy's.
Okay, so
You're the
Zach
best.
just learned about this yesterday, right?
I
Yeah.
love Wendy's marketing.
Yeah.
The thing about Wendy's marketing, you're probably going to talk more detail about this, Zach, but they do not care. They do not care who you are, what company you're associated with. They will just go straight to real with you, and they'll just talk mad
Well, I
smack.
think what they understand now is they're trying to not be just this empty shell of a corporation
Right.
and have a personality behind their branding and their social media campaign. And by doing that, they're very, like, whoever's running their social media, like, is very in touch with modern day humor and internet culture.
Yep, exactly.
They understand internet culture.
They're very witty and very sarcastic.
That's exactly what the internet is.
Yeah, that's
And
internet in a nutshell.
very much in love.
Another great fast food company that is just like that, I think you guys all are aware of this, is Arby's.
Oh, yeah.
I
If
didn't
you
know
ever-
Arby's was doing it too.
If you
Arby's
I'm-
is sassy too.
homie.
Oh,
It's not necessarily
God.
sassy. Zach, if you would, while you're on your computer, for our audio listeners, Zach is on his computer. He's the
Yeah.
computer guy. Go to Arby's Facebook page and just check out some of those posts. And while you're doing that, I'll vamp. Arby's, the thing about what you were talking about, Wendy's, Arby's is very in tune with internet culture. They know what their audience likes. They know the popular memes, the popular things that are going on. And so what they'll do is they'll create these various art pieces utilizing the Arby's cardboard and their foods and stuff.
That's a cool idea.
Exactly.
Oh,
if
and
you,
they
if
nail
you can
it.
check it out, they've done stuff for
is this Pokemon? What is this?
exactly.
They've done Pokemon. They've
Zelda.
done
They've done, I think, Skyrim. They've done
Skyrim,
Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon Ball Z, One Piece,
That's
a bunch
cool.
of other
So
anime
it's all like
series.
cardboard cutouts
Yep.
of
Definitely.
cardboard
Yeah.
of all these characters.
That's all
but
it is, and it
they're-
works so
they're, like,
well.
beside food, and so it has like this
We have
set
the
atmosphere.
For our listeners, though, back to Wendy's, what the stuff that Wendy's is doing, they're just straight up like having full-on conversations with, they're pretty much having Twitter battles almost.
And they're
Yeah.
hilarious.
that's a good way to describe
And
it.
they
It's
destroy
hilarious.
everybody.
What is this like? This is on College Humor. If anybody wants to look it up.
I'm looking at a thing on College Humor on like just an example of one of the tweets. So someone tweets at Wendy's, "Your beef is frozen and we all know it. Y'all know we laugh at your slogan, fresh, never frozen, right? Yeah,
This is the
really
first
a joke,
one
right?
too. This is what started it
Yeah.
all, apparently.
This is what made them
really
famous,
a joke,
yeah.
you know. So they're calling them out, and then Wendy's responds, "Sorry to hear that, but you're wrong. We've only ever used fresh since we've been founded in 1969." Then he says, "So you deliver it raw or hot in a truck?" And he's like, where do you store cold things that aren't frozen?" Like is what's when he asks them, and he goes, "Y'all should give up you guys got beat with a dope ass breakfast from McDonald's. So bringing McDonald's in here. Wendy's responds, you don't have to bring them into this just because you forgot refrigerators exist.
So yeah,
That is beyond savage.
I
homie.
definitely
Yeah.
recommend looking those up if you have not already. One thing that I'll be the one to bring this story down to the negative. There's this documentary from forever ago. I kind of wish they would update it. It's from like the early 2000s. It's called Merchants of Cool.
Ooh.
And it has to do with this concept, the Cool Hunters. It's a job that you can have. And these people's job is to go out and identify trends that are up and coming. So they identify the trends when they're underground, and then they exploit them to the mass markets to the point where it's no longer cool.
You've told me about this.
And I swear, like, it'll change your entire worldview on being hip or being, so the best example from this documentary is ICP, Insane Clown Posse.
Oh.
Ooh,
So
There
they
we
they go and identify the juggalo culture, and then they started marketing being a juggalo, basically. And to the point where ICP themselves were on WWE, and they're just like, super mainstream. And now, arguably, being a juggalo is no longer cool because they made it cool.
You are now considered
Right.
a gang member
Yeah.
by the FBI.
Yeah,
Pretty
so-
much. Yeah.
So
You're
I'm
considered
gonna.
a gang member now?
Yeah, the FBI
Yeah.
determined them as a gang.
They
And
should
they
be.
Wanna,
They're all obsessed with hatchets and.
they want to countersue the FBI now.
Wow.
Good luck with that.
That's hilarious. I love to see them in a court setting. But I will hypothesize that what's going to happen is more companies are going to start picking up on what Wendy's is doing, and it's going to
Oh, yeah.
feel authentic. It's going to feel cool, and all of a sudden it's going to be exploited and just overdone, and
But
it's not going to be
everybody's
cool
doing
anymore.
it.
Yeah.
It's
I
gonna
don't wanna
backfire
do it
hard.
anymore.
And then nobody will
It's-
think Twitter's cool anymore.
Yeah.
They'll stop using it.
It's literally the process that all trends go through. Is they're in the underground, and then they become cool by being marketed to the mainstream, and then
people
once
are
it's
like,
mainstream, it's not cool
cool.
anymore. So these cool hunters have a perpetual job of being able to never
Finding a new thing to be
yeah,
cool about.
Yeah, so
You
they're
know what
always,
else is cool?
Beer. Who wants another beer?
I mean, if you're offering,
Me, please.
Okay.
You know what
yeah,
else
they're
is cool?
cold ones.
Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is
No,
cool.
he's got to walk away. I know.
Well, he can walk
Peter
away.
Dinklage, Peter Dinklage, Peter Dinklage, Peter Dinklage.
So yeah, I
JP's
was,
almost
lovely.
off the edge.
everyone
that was
is
pretty
everyone
close.
is taking my hosting job tonight.
I'm sorry, we're getting close to the time.
I
It's
know.
already an hour and three in.
I was working on it. So yeah, we have this trend that we started where we're describing ourselves as
Steak?
a character. No.
That's a different trend.
Yeah.
Start it off.
So this week, oh no, I have to go last.
Oh.
So this week we are doing Game of Thrones. And
Edward
so
Stellahands.
I'm actually trying to talk slow so JP can sit his ass down. Okay, JP's not allowed to be around in the camera anymore.
No.
Not near the tripod at
We're
all.
setting him
Yeah.
up in a separate room.
So, anyways, JP. Hello. I want you to go first. Which Game of Thrones character would you be? Do not fall.
That's not a character. Do Not Fall is not a character. He's in the next season. That's a good question. We were talking about this.
So many characters.
Yeah, you had all week to prepare.
We were talking about this before we started, and we were saying how since there's so many characters in the show, it's really hard to determine which one you'd be most like. Because I know my favorite characters, right? My favorite characters are no doubt Tyrion and Arya, two of my absolute favorite characters in the show. But if I had to choose a character that I'm most like, that's really tough. I mean, sometimes I feel that I'm like a mix of Rob and Ned. Because the Starks, especially Rob and Ned, they're very focused on family and honor. When I think of Ned Stark, I think honor. And as much of a not, I don't know. I like to feel like I'm sort of an honorable person, even though my actions might speak otherwise. But in the way that I view things, I try to view myself as honorable, like Prince Zuko from Avatar. So
Nice.
I'd like to say I'm one of the Starks, but more than likely I'm probably like a Bolton or something.
See that.
All right, Cayse.
Tyrion, I drink and I'm short. No, you gotta say more?
Oh, duh. And he knows
Need us-
things.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I don't really
Yeah.
know anything. I'm just a sarcastic asshole. I don't know if that counts as knowing things.
You know how to be sarcastic.
I think Cayse is man.
He is-
coming up-
he is
trying
a
to-
man.
Trying to
I
find.
am-
Oh,
well-
I think he's Braun
Bran.
Oh, Braun's sick.
Oh, Braun or
Love
Braun, not Bran.
I could see that.
No, you're definitely. That's
I can
the one
see
that.
that. I can definitely
Braun.
see that.
He was the one that was hired by Tyrion and like saved
Yeah.
Tyrion's life a few times.
I could definitely see that,
I
too.
could see Braun or
Oh.
even
The one with the little goatee thing.
yeah.
Ah.
He's like
okay,
really good at sword fighting. The other one.
The other one, yeah.
I see.
No,
I know.
crap.
I see his face.
The
Hound?
Irish one.
Conor McGregor.
Arya's captor
Oh.
with the burn on his face. Why am I-
Jorah.
The
Jorah,
A
right?
girl does not know his name.
Or the Hound.
None
The
of us
Hound.
know his
All right,
name.
we can't figure. We'll go with Braun and we'll move
Yes.
on.
All right.
Hound.
All right, Braun. I can live
The
with that.
Hound.
Braun's
Thank you.
awesome.
I was thinking Beast, and I'm like, no, that's Beauty and the Beast.
Braun's awesome. I'll live with
All
that.
right, so I obviously connect with Ramsey. I'm just kidding. It's so gross.
Oh, that was spot on. What are you talking about?
Terrible joke.
Ramsey's
All right.
awesome, though.
Yeah, Ramsey's
Khaleesi.
awesome.
Terrible character,
She
but
my
he's an awesome
girl.
character.
Khaleesi.
Khaleesi.
Nice.
Mother of
Danny.
Dragons. Why
Danny.
not?
Danny's
Oh
actually
wow,
sick.
she's going with Danny.
Because,
She's
I
going
mean,
with the
dude,
mainstream
coming
right
up for
there.
the current season, homie, like the newest season, she's going to be too powerful.
Way
She's a
too
way
powerful.
too powerful.
Codes and waves.
GG.
She has
it's over.
too many armies, too many dragons, too many awesome. You know, it's over. You're done.
Never have to not
Done.
have them.
You gonna go next? Or
Is it
you
my
want-
turn?
Sure.
Duh.
We didn't have to go clockwise, but we did.
What?
I would like to be
Antarctica?
probably like Dario Naharis.
Dario's...
He's pretty badass.
Yeah. Dario's cool. Do you like the original Dario or the new Dario?
Oh, that's a good question. I know, like they switched him
Okay.
up so
That-
much. It was so confusing how
that
much
took me
they
a minute
changed that.
too. I was like, who is this person? Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good.
Dario's pretty cool.
yeah,
you
it's
were
good.
saying someone else though. You were saying the other, the bastard.
Oh
Busted.
yeah. So
Busted.
the idea I came up with for Zach was that he's the bastard son of God. It's been so long since I've watched the show. Now I feel like I'm
been a
forgetting
while.
everyone's name.
This is why you had to bring up
No.
the name.
Yeah,
Let's watch
yeah,
an
yeah.
episode
Can't
tonight.
possibly like.
Homie.
So
Homie.
yeah. So the bastard son who like
the-
leaves on the rowboat and we haven't
Brant.
seen him since.
Yeah, Brant.
Brant.
No.
Grant?
it's
not
No,
Brant.
that doesn't make
There's
sense.
too many
Yeah.
characters.
So, anyways, this
Johnny.
guy, and so
Mike.
my argument was that he's the rightful leader who is just kind of underground, and he's gonna come back in a big way.
Yeah,
The
we'll see what
low-key
happens
heir to
when
the
he comes
throne.
back.
Low
Come
key.
back.
Come back
All right.
down, homie.
All right, Doug.
Or Hodor.
Hold the door.
So the character that like
Hold the door.
whenever I watch the show, I always like the most. I always like Cersei the most. For me, like all the characters in that show are pretty
She's such
human,
a bitch, and so are you, Doug.
right? Yeah, exactly.
Duh.
Very true.
You know, she's just an awful person. I could really relate. No, no, like all the characters are pretty human in that show, but for her, like the petty emotions she goes through, and like all the I don't know. For some reason, she's like the character I always like the most, and maybe part of the fact that everybody else hates her, but for some reason I don't mind her
Yeah.
makes it even better.
I'm taking mine back.
What are you?
I want to be the lady that goes, shame.
Oh, yeah.
Shame.
I want to be her leading the
Shame.
pack
We were
down the
thinking-
street.
Shame.
Ding.
Shelby, we were thinking you would be the queen, not Cersei's queen, but the other queen.
Marjorie?
What do you
Marjorie.
mean? We
I
thought.
love Marjorie.
So-
We thought, like you guys have discussed
Yeah.
what
No,
character I would be.
actually, we
me and
didn't
Alyssa.
think that. I said that was me.
Oh, that was Alyssa.
We,
yeah.
me,
Oh,
she.
Marjorie is a badass, though.
Marjorie's awesome.
So my reasoning for
She's a solid
Marjorie,
character.
since we're, I guess, segueing into that, is that I am passive aggressive.
No.
I always think I'm one step ahead of everyone.
Oh, this
and
was your
yeah,
Marjorie.
yes,
I don't know. I thought you said it was for
no,
Shelby.
not even a little bit. And then
We
I
literally just said, we talked about what Shelby would be, and you're like, oh, yeah, Marjorie.
no.
No? Okay.
Oh, I didn't. Even,
All right, carry on.
So, anyways, this is fun.
No, but seriously, like, I love Marjorie. She exemplifies both class and also, like, she just does not care. Super passive aggressive.
Natalie Dormer.
I
That's her
love
name.
Natalie Dormer.
Lola Bunny.
Lola Bunny.
So
cute.
the reason I was saving myself to last was because I was torn between those two. Was that I had decided on Marjorie the other day, and then I remembered this awesome shirt that I'm wearing right now. The I drink and I know things, and remembered that I'm very much also like Tyrion because I drink and I'm educated
Hear, hear.
and I do not like fighting.
Or
Yep.
people.
I like books.
Yeah, Tyrion doesn't like to fight, but he can fight.
Yeah.
If he has to.
can
Yeah.
You know what he was also really
Yeah.
good at? The sex.
The sex.
I don't know. I just want to say that. Tyrion's sick.
On that note, yeah. So what should we
Next week?
call ourselves next week?
So we were talking about this before we recorded the podcast. Initially I was like, what Skins character would we be? But the thing is, not everybody at the table has watched Skins.
I would have to rewatch too.
So
I
don't
say
know.
Parks and Rec. Does
Parks
anyone
would be
watch
good.
Parks and
I
Rec?
watched Parks and
I've
Rec.
watched a little bit of Parks.
All right.
I already know who I'd be
Parks
right
and
off the top of
Rec.
my head.
I think I
so
already
I'm
know
good.
who I would be.
Yeah.
I already know.
All right.
I'm down.
John Ralphio.
Spoilers.
Parks and Rec it is.
Spoilers.
You already spoiled it.
I did.
You know what I would say when somebody spoils something? I'm like, slow down, girl.
Okay.
And that's your ending song, Zach. Fix it in post.
And
All right.
fade in.
Well, before I get interrupted anymore, let's sign out for the week. See you all next time.
See you
Bye,
guys.
everybody.
Bye.